All right. Have you ever, felt that shiver kind of going down your spine when you hear those stories about creatures lurking in the shadows, just like beyond what we can really understand?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going right into the heart of the Himalayas
Ooh.
on the trail of one of the world's, most legendary cryptids, the Yeti.
Yeah, the Yeti, it really sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
It
'Cause
does.
it's like a blend of folklore and those like, those little glimpses, those tantalizing glimpses,
Yeah.
and that big question that just keeps hanging there,
Yeah.
Could it be real?
I'm John Doe, and with me, as always, is our expert on everything paranormal, Jane Doe.
Hello, everybody.
And Jane, we've got a mountain of research here, articles, expedition notes, even some blurry
Oh,
photos,
exciting.
all ready to try to separate fact from frosty
I'm
fiction.
ready. I love a good mystery. You know me.
I do.
Especially one with such a rich history.
Yeah. So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
The name Yeti, it's intriguing, coming from Tibetan words meaning rocky bear. It hints at this connection to those harsh landscapes.
It's more than a hint, I think, in Tibetan culture.
Yeah.
The Yeti isn't just a creature, it's woven into their belief system, almost like a spirit of the mountains.
Okay, now that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, imagine the Yeti as like a guardian of those, sacred peaks, a symbol of the wildness that we as humans haven't tamed.
Yeah.
There's this idea that like if you encounter a Yeti, it's like a test,
Oh, wow.
of your courage, your respect for the mountains.
So it's not just about a big, hairy creature stomping around.
No.
There's something deeper going on.
Yeah, exactly. There's even this belief that the Yeti kind of bridges the gap between our world and the spirit world. It's a very powerful concept, really embodying the mysteries of the Himalayas.
Yeah, really adds another layer to this whole legend.
It does.
But of course, the Yeti is famous way beyond the Himalayas thanks to popular culture.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen the Yeti everywhere from like classic films like Yeti,
Yeah.
the giant of the 20th century,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, is more memorable for its campiness than its accuracy.
Right, yeah.
to more recent animated features like Abominable, for instance.
Yeah, and don't forget those heart-stopping encounters in video games,
Oh, yeah?
like Uncharted 2 and Far Cry 4.
Yes.
I swear, I still jump every time I see that Yeti in Far Cry.
Oh, it's that image, isn't it? That towering ape-like figure, shrouded in mystery.
Yeah,
It taps into something very primal, I think, in our imaginations.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears from Hollywood
Okay.
to the real-life hunt for the Yeti.
Okay.
It seems like the 20th century, with all those explorers, heading into the Himalayas,
Uh-huh.
they really fueled the fire.
They did. There was like a surge
Yeah.
in reported sightings, footprints in the snow, even like tales of encountering the creature.
Wow.
Of course, not everyone was convinced. Even Sir Edmund Hillary, the legendary mountaineer,
Right.
started out intrigued by the Yeti, but became pretty skeptical over time.
So let's dig into some of those famous expeditions. What are
Yeah.
some of the details that stand out to you?
Well, there's a really interesting one. In 1925,
Okay.
N.A. Tambazi,
Okay.
who was a photographer and explorer, reported seeing a dark figure moving through these rhododendron bushes
Oh, wow.
near the Zimu Glacier.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is that he said the footprints looked like a human's, but like way smaller.
And footprints are always like the classic evidence, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then, you can't forget those really iconic 1951 photographs
Yeah.
taken by Eric Shipton
Yeah.
showing these huge footprints in the snow.
Yeah.
What really caused debate was this unusual toe structure. And people were arguing, are they genuine or is this a hoax?
Yeah, those photos really captured the public's imagination. It's like they provided this tangible link to this elusive creature.
They did, and then the intrigue continued with the
Yeah.
1954 Daily Mail expedition, which brought back this supposed Yeti scalp from
Yeah.
the Pangboj Monastery.
Scalps.
Yeah, analysis of the hair, though, concluded that it wasn't from a scalp or any known primate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real mystery.
That's creepy.
Yeah, and then you've got Don Willens,
Yeah.
a very seasoned mountaineer,
Yeah.
claiming to have seen a creature moving on all fours
Wow.
while on Annapurna
Okay.
in 1970.
So many different accounts. I know it's
Wow.
hard to really know what to make of it all.
That's the Yeti enigma, right?
Yeah.
So many stories, so much intrigue, but concrete evidence is still missing.
Well, maybe science can shed some light on things.
Maybe.
One theory is that a lot of these sightings are actually just misidentified Himalayan wildlife.
That's a very, very plausible explanation. The Himalayas are home to so many different animals. It's incredible.
Right.
And in certain conditions, it's really easy to see how you might misinterpret a fleeting glimpse, like
Right.
take langur monkeys, for example. They inhabit, the lower altitudes and
Mhm.
can be quite large,
Yeah.
or the Tibetan blue bear
Yeah.
and the Himalayan brown bear, both very impressive creatures with
Yeah.
their size and that thick fur.
I guess if you're already thinking you're going to see a Yeti,
Right.
those bears could definitely make you think that.
Exactly. But some research goes even deeper.
Okay.
The 1983 Barun Valley discoveries
Okay.
focused on the Asiatic black bear.
Okay.
It turns out that the young black bears are quite what we call arboreal,
Mm-hmm.
spending a lot of time in trees.
Okay.
And their climbing habits and their paw prints could actually explain some Yeti sightings.
So a bear cub up a tree could be mistaken for a Yeti
It's possible.
from a distance. That's interesting.
It's possible. And then we have DNA analysis, which has played a big role in recent years.
Yeah.
In the 2010s, all these different Yeti samples were analyzed, hair, even a supposed finger,
Oh, wow.
and the results.
Yeah.
Mostly brown bears,
Oh,
some polar bears,
wow.
even a dog in there.
So much for a new primate species.
Yeah.
But what about the theory that the Yeti might be some kind of hybrid bear?
Hmm.
That's got to be more exciting than your average bear, right?
It does add, a bit more intrigue,
Yeah.
I'll admit. And it's a possibility that we can't completely rule out. Some researchers even point to Gigantopithecus,
Okay.
an extinct giant ape that was around Asia millions of years ago.
Wow.
However, most scientists think it walked on all fours,
Okay.
which doesn't really fit the usual Yeti descriptions.
So we've got bears, we've got monkeys, we've got extinct apes. The list of potential suspects is growing here.
It is.
But where does that leave us in our quest for the Yeti?
Right.
Is it all just misidentification and overactive imaginations?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
it is.
We have all these really intriguing stories, these compelling eyewitness accounts, but that hard scientific proof,
Yeah.
it's still elusive.
And that brings us to another question. Does this lack of definitive proof, does it diminish the Yeti's cultural significance at all?
Mm-hmm.
Or does the mystery itself kind of contribute to its lasting power?
That's where things get really interesting because even without, hard evidence,
Right.
the Yeti has this powerful place in our collective imagination.
Yeah.
It represents the unknown, that wildness that's still out there in the world, the possibility that there are things out there we don't even understand yet.
Right.
And I think that's a story worth telling.
I completely agree. It seems like the Yeti is more than just a creature.
Yes.
It's this symbol of our fascination with the mysteries of the world.
Yes.
We crave the unknown.
We do.
We crave these unexplained things.
Yeah.
And that desire fuels our search for the Yeti. Even if it might just lead to shadows and speculation.
Right.
Who knows? But maybe someday
Yeah.
we'll find that one piece of evidence that finally unlocks the secrets of the Yeti.
Maybe. Yeah.
But until then, the hunt continues.
It does.
It's really
Yeah.
interesting how the Yeti has just grabbed imaginations
Yeah.
across so many different cultures.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not just a Himalayan legend. It's like a global phenomenon.
It is, yeah. It's like it almost feels like it represents that fascination that we all have as humans,
Right.
with the unknown.
Yeah, we see those similar creatures in folklore, like all over the world.
We do.
Like Bigfoot in North America,
Yeah.
the Yowie in Australia, even the orang pendek in Indonesia.
Exactly. And all of these creatures,
Yeah.
they're often described as these large hairy humanoids,
Yeah.
lurking in the wilderness. It's like they tap into this primal fear and curiosity
Yeah.
that just goes beyond cultural boundaries.
Yeah, it's like they represent the wild parts of ourselves.
Right.
The parts that don't really fit in with civilization and logic.
Yeah, the parts that resist.
Yeah, and the Himalayas with with their huge peaks and those landscapes.
Those unforgiving
Yeah,
landscapes.
they're the perfect setting for a creature like that.
They do. They have this aura of mystery and power, don't they?
Yeah.
They're home to ancient cultures and spiritual traditions, stories that have been, passed down for generations.
Mhm.
It's no wonder the Yeti has become so tied to that sense of wonder and the unknown.
What about those scientific explanations?
Mm.
Is there any chance that the Yeti could actually be real?
Mm.
A real creature that we just haven't discovered yet?
Right.
Or is it all just misidentification and folklore?
Well, the scientific community, for the most part, they're skeptical, and for good reason, as we were talking about earlier. Most evidence points to misidentified animals,
Oh.
like bears, monkeys, or even large birds. The DNA analysis has been really key, I think,
Yeah.
in debunking some of those wilder claims.
Right, those Yeti samples turning out to be from bears and dogs.
Yeah,
That kind of puts a damper on finding a new primate species.
it does. It does.
What about those who argue that, saying every sighting is just a mistake is too
Yeah.
simplistic?
Right.
What do you say to that?
I think it's a fair point. There are definitely cases where eyewitness accounts are quite compelling.
Yeah.
And what happened during the sighting
Right.
doesn't have a simple explanation.
Right.
But that's where I think critical thinking comes in. We have to really weigh the evidence carefully,
Yeah.
consider all the different possibilities and try not to jump to conclusions just
Yeah.
based on someone's story.
So keeping an open mind, but also sticking to scientific principles.
Hmm. Exactly. We shouldn't dismiss the possibility of something amazing, something extraordinary.
Yeah.
But we also have to be rigorous and skeptical when we look at things.
Yeah.
That's how we tell the difference between a real mystery and just wishful thinking.
And sometimes even with the best scientific tools we have,
Yeah.
we're still left with questions we can't answer.
Yeah, it's true.
That's just part of exploration, isn't it?
It is, and that's why the Yeti and other creatures like it are so interesting.
Yeah.
They show us the limits of what we know,
Right.
the things that we can't easily categorize or explain.
Right.
They challenge us to think differently,
Yeah.
to consider things, outside of what we think we know.
And even if we never find that absolute proof,
Right.
the search itself is valuable.
It is.
It teaches us about the natural world,
It does.
about different cultures, different ways of seeing things, and about our own ability to be curious and to wonder.
Absolutely. That pursuit of knowledge, that desire to understand the world around us, that's what keeps us going.
It is.
And who knows, maybe one day
Yeah.
we'll find something truly amazing.
Yeah.
But until then,
Ah,
the Yeti's going to be a source of fascination and debate
yeah.
and inspiration.
Let's shift our focus a little.
Okay.
We've talked about, the Yeti in Tibetan culture,
Right.
and its global fame.
Yeah.
But what about the impact it has on the people who actually live in the Himalayas?
Mm.
Has the Yeti legend had any, real effects on their lives?
That's a great question, and the answer, yes, it has.
Oh.
For some communities in the Himalayas,
Yeah.
the Yeti's more than just a mythical creature. It's a real part of their cultural identity.
Oh, wow.
They have stories, they have rituals,
Oh.
even places that are connected to the Yetis that they pass down from generation to generation.
It's like the Yeti has become like a part of their lives.
Yeah,
Shaping their beliefs and traditions.
exactly. And for some, the Yeti legend has had an impact on their livelihood.
Oh,
The whole idea of this mystery, it draws tourists and researchers to the region, which boosts local economies
Right.
and creates jobs for guides, porters, and others involved in tourism.
So the Yeti, whether it's real or not,
Right.
has a real impact on the lives of people in the Himalayas.
It does.
It's a reminder that these legends and myths,
Yeah.
as wild as they might seem,
Yeah.
they're often very connected to the lives and cultures
Yeah.
of real people.
Absolutely. And it shows us that it's important to be sensitive and respectful
Yeah.
when we talk about these things.
Yeah.
We're not just dealing with stories, we're
Mhm.
dealing with people's beliefs.
Their culture, their way of life.
It's about recognizing the human element behind it all.
Exactly.
The stories, the legends.
Yeah.
That brings us to a really interesting question.
Okay.
What is it about the Yeti that keeps us so captivated,
Mhm.
even though, scientists are skeptical,
Right.
and we don't have any solid evidence?
Right. Yeah.
Is it just the thrill of not knowing,
Hmm.
or is there something more to it?
I think it's a bit of both. I think on one level,
Yeah.
there's that pure excitement of the unknown. This idea that a creature like the Yeti could be out there,
Yeah.
hidden from us.
Right.
It's just so intriguing.
Yeah.
It makes our imaginations run wild. It sparks our sense of adventure.
Yeah.
And it makes us question, what we think we know about the world.
Yeah, it's like we're all kids again, sitting around a campfire,
Yeah.
listening to stories about monsters. Right.
And creatures.
Exactly. And those stories, they tap into something very, very deep,
Yeah.
in our minds.
Yeah.
This fascination with the unknown
Yeah.
that's been with us since forever.
But I think there's another level to our fascination with the Yeti.
I think so too.
It's this connection to something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
To the wildness of nature.
Right.
And to the mysteries of the universe.
Yeah.
In a world that feels, more and more predictable and controlled.
Yeah, I agree.
The Yeti reminds us that there's still things we don't understand.
Yeah.
Places where what we think is real kind of gets blurry.
Yes.
And possibilities that we can only imagine.
And that sense of wonder.
Yeah.
That acceptance that there are things we don't know.
Right.
It's something we all need, I think,
Yeah.
whether we believe in the Yeti or not.
Yeah.
It keeps us curious. It keeps us exploring.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that the world is much more complex and mysterious
Yeah.
than we often think it is.
Well said. And maybe that's the biggest lesson we can learn from the Yeti.
Maybe.
It's not about finding a creature in the mountains.
Right.
It's about finding a sense of wonder and possibility
Yes.
within ourselves.
I love that. It's a reminder that searching for the Yeti is really about searching for something inside us,
Right.
a desire to connect with what we don't know,
Yeah.
to embrace those mysteries,
Yeah.
and to keep that spark of curiosity alive.
As we keep going in our deep dive,
Yeah.
we'll explore more about the Yeti's, lasting impact and
Yeah.
how it's shaped our culture, our understanding of the world, and maybe even how we understand ourselves.
That's a great point. And that's a perfect way to move into our next segment.
Okay.
We'll dive even deeper into the Yeti's, cultural significance and how it continues to shape our view of the unknown.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, we're back, ready to kind of wrap up our deep dive into the legend of the Yeti.
Yeah.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has. We climbed those heights of Himalayan folklore. We trekked through all those scientific theories.
Yeah.
And we even, checked out the Yeti's influence on popular culture.
And through it all,
Yeah.
that main question is still there.
Yeah.
Does the Yeti actually exist?
Mm.
Or is it all just our imaginations running wild?
I think that's the real beauty of it.
Yeah.
The Yeti, whether it's real or not, it's become a symbol, like an archetype
Yeah.
that speaks to something deep inside of us.
You're right. It represents that yearning for mystery.
Right.
For something that's beyond the ordinary.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that the world is still full of surprises.
Yeah.
Even now, in this age of science and technology.
Absolutely. It embodies that sense of wonder
Yeah.
that we often lose touch with, as we get older.
Right.
It reminds us to be open to the unknown,
Yeah.
to question what we think we know,
Yeah.
and to never stop, exploring.
And speaking of exploring,
Yeah.
I'm curious, what do you think? Do you think the search for the Yeti, even if we never find, that definitive proof,
Right.
do you think it's still worth it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the search itself, it's a journey of discovery,
Right.
not just, physically going out there,
Right.
but intellectually,
Yeah.
culturally, it makes us confront our our own biases.
Right.
Look at the evidence critically
Right.
and appreciate all the different ways people see the world.
That's a good point. It's about the journey itself,
Yeah.
not just the destination.
Exactly. And even if we never find, a Yeti footprint
Yeah.
that convinces all of the scientists,
Yeah.
we'll have learned so much along the way.
Yeah, we'll have a better understanding of the Himalayas,
Yeah.
the people who live there,
Yeah.
the connection between humans and nature.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe we'll stumble upon other discoveries, maybe
Yeah.
even new animals
Yeah.
during the search.
So the Yeti is kind of like a guide,
Yeah, like that.
leading us down these paths we wouldn't have taken otherwise.
Yeah.
It encourages us to get out of our comfort zone
Yeah.
and see the world in new ways.
Yeah, the Yeti as a symbol, can be this powerful catalyst for exploring and discovery.
I want to talk a little bit about the ethics
Okay.
of searching for the Yeti.
Right.
If a creature like that is out there,
Yeah.
do we have the right to go into its home to try to capture it or to study it?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
And one we should think about very carefully,
Yeah.
If the Yeti is real,
Yeah.
especially if it's rare or endangered,
Yeah.
then our first priority should be to protect it
Right.
and its home.
Absolutely. We always have to think about the potential harm
Yeah.
to the creature itself
Right.
and to the environment.
Yes. We need to approach the search with respect, with sensitivity, and with a deep understanding of what might happen because of what we do.
Well said. So as we wrap up our deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway for our listeners?
Yeah.
What do you want them to think about
Mhm.
as they go on their own journeys of exploration?
I hope they'll embrace the mystery, the wonder, that possibility that the world still has secrets out there, waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
I hope they'll approach the unknown with curiosity,
Yeah.
with respect, and with a commitment to exploring responsibly.
That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
And for those who are still, looking for answers,
Right.
for that absolute proof that the Yeti's out there, remember this.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best journeys
Mm-hmm.
are the ones that leave us with more questions
It's true.
than answers.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? The
Yeah.
Yeti keeps challenging us, keeps us interested,
Yeah.
and reminds us that there's always more to learn, more to discover,
Yeah.
and more to wonder about.
And on that note,
Yeah.
we want to thank you all, our amazing listeners,
Yes.
for coming along with us on this deep dive into the legend of the Yeti.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
It's been so fun exploring this with you.
Until next time,
Yes.
keep those minds open, those imaginations fired up, and never stop looking for the extraordinary and the ordinary.
Right.
And if you happen to find, some large, mysterious footprints in the snow,
Yes.
well, you know who to call.
You know who to call.
Stay curious, everyone.
Stay curious.
And we'll see you on our next deep dive into the world of the unknown.
See you then.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the mysteries of our world.
Please do.
Thanks for listening.